News out of the WNBA has left fans stunned and heartbroken. Former two-time WNBA champion Kara Braxton has passed away at just 43 years old, reportedly on Sunday, February 22nd. The league has confirmed her death, but so far, no official cause has been released. Even without that detail, the impact of the announcement was immediate. For anyone who watched the WNBA in the 2000s and early 2010s, Kara Braxton wasn't just another name on a roster. She was one of the anchors in the paint who helped define an era. As soon as the WNBA confirmed her passing, reactions began pouring in from across the basketball world. The league publicly expressed its sorrow, noting her 2 championships in 10 seasons in the WNBA, and sent condolences to her family, friends, and former teammates. It wasn't just a routine post. You could feel the weight behind it, because people inside the league know exactly how big a role she played in some of its most physical, competitive years. For fans who may be newer to women's basketball and are just hearing her name now, Kara Braxton was a 6'6" center who made her presence felt the moment she stepped onto a professional court. She was drafted 7th overall in the 2005 WNBA draft by the Detroit Shock, a franchise that was already loaded with talent and attitude. Detroit didn't need a star to save them. They needed someone tough enough to do the dirty work inside, someone who would battle on every possession. Kara fit that mold perfectly. Right away, she made a mark. She earned WNBA All-Rookie Team honors in her first year, which tells you how quickly she adjusted to the pro game. But it wasn't just about individual awards with her. She slipped into that Detroit Shock system like she'd been there for years, rebounding, setting hard screens, clogging a lane, and defending some of the best post players in the world. If you remember those Shock teams, you remember how rugged and intense they were. Kara Braxton was a huge part of that identity. Detroit went on to win championships in 2006 and 2008, and Kara became a key part of both of those title runs. She wasn't always a headline name, but she was the one banging bodies in the paint, boxing out, and absorbing contact so that the stars could do their thing. In playoff basketball, especially back then, you needed size, strength, and a willingness to be physical every single night. That was Kara. She controlled the glass, protected the rim, and didn't shy away from contact. Teammates trusted her. Coaches leaned on her, and opponents knew they were in for a long evening whenever she was on the floor. When the Detroit Shock later relocated and became the Tulsa Shock, Kara stayed with the organization through that transition. That move was a big shift. New city, new fan base, a different phase in the franchise's life. But she continued to provide that inside presence the team needed. From there, her path took her to the Phoenix Mercury and the New York Liberty. 2 more franchises in 2 very different markets, giving fans across the league a closer look at her game. In Phoenix, on a team known for its up-tempo, high-powered offense, she brought balance with her size and strength. In New York, she became part of a franchise with its own rich history in the WNBA, again sliding into that crucial interior role: rebound, defend, screen, finish at the rim. Over a 10-season WNBA career, she showed she could adapt to different systems, different coaches, and different expectations, while always sticking to who she was as a player: physical, tough, and reliable in the paint. To understand how she got there, it helps to look at where she came from. Kara Braxton was born in Jackson, Michigan, and later moved to Oregon during her high school years. That move didn't slow her down at all. She developed into a standout player at the high school level, earning recognition across the state and catching the eye of college recruiters. Eventually, she made her way to the University of Georgia, one of the more respected women's basketball programs in the country. Her collegiate career at Georgia ended earlier than expected, and like many athletes who step away from school to chase professional opportunities or navigate personal challenges, she didn't immediately finish her degree. But what stands out is what happened much later. Almost 20 years after she first left college, Kara Braxton made good on a personal promise to herself and went back to complete her degree. For many former athletes, that's not an easy step. You're older than most of your classmates. Your life has taken a completely different path, and you're used to being recognized for what you do on the court, not what you do in a classroom. She talked about how important that achievement was to her, saying it had always been a goal to return and finish what she started. For her, going back to school wasn't just a box to check. It was a statement about persistence and growth beyond basketball. That decision showed another side of her, not just a competitor in the paint, but the person who wanted to keep building and improving her life long after the final buzzer of her playing career. Kara's career also extended far beyond the WNBA. Like many women's basketball players, she continued playing internationally, taking her game to Poland, Turkey, China, and Italy through the 2017 to 2018 season. That overseas grind is something a lot of fans don't fully see. You're thousands of miles away from home, adapting to different cultures, different coaching styles, different languages, and different styles of play. Yet, she continued to do what she always did. Control the interior, use her frame and strength, and make life difficult for opposing bigs. Playing in Europe and Asia helped extend her career and allowed her to keep doing what she loved, while also showing young players around the world what a true WNBA caliber center looks like. Even outside of the spotlight of American television coverage, she was representing the league and the level of talent it produces. Once she retired from professional basketball, Kara didn't drift away from sports entirely. She stayed in Oregon and went to work for Nike, one of the biggest names in the athletic world. That kept her close to the game and gave her a chance to stay connected to athletics and mentorship. It's easy to imagine how valuable her experience would have been in that environment. A two-time WNBA champion who had played all around the world, now working inside a company deeply involved in basketball and sport culture. Off the court, Kara focused heavily on her family. She supported her children's athletic paths and was especially proud of her eldest son, Jelani Thurman, who went on to play college football for the Ohio State Buckeyes. That alone tells you something about the athletic pedigree in the family. He's competing at one of the top programs in the country, in front of massive crowds, and there's no doubt her guidance, discipline, and understanding of elite competition helped shape his journey. The circumstances surrounding Kara Braxton's death remain unclear publicly, while some reports, including coverage from the Oregonian, have suggested that she may have been involved in a car accident. No official cause of death has been confirmed by authorities or her family at this time. That lack of clarity has left fans with a lot of questions. But it's also a moment where many are choosing to focus on honoring her life rather than speculating. Until there is an official statement, all that can really be said with certainty is that her passing was sudden, and it has deeply shaken those who knew her or followed her career. What's been very clear, though, is the outpouring of grief and respect from across the basketball world. Former teammates, opponents, and longtime WNBA followers have been posting memories, photos, and heartfelt messages. Monique Curry, who shared the court with and against Kara during her own lengthy career, shared a deeply emotional tribute, calling Kara a genuine friend, someone who always brought love, fun, and zero judgment. She made it clear just how big of a void this loss leaves in her life. Fans have been just as vocal. Many have expressed their disbelief, saying they couldn't accept that someone they watched for years, someone still so young, is now gone. Some messages have simply been raw reactions. People writing that they were shouting no at their screens when they saw the news and telling Kara to rest in peace. Others have taken a more reflective tone, calling incredibly sad news and extending their deepest condolences to her family and friends. You can feel the shock in those comments. Even people who might not have followed every step of her career remember those Detroit championship teams and remember her as the big presence in the middle who did the hard work. And that's a theme that keeps coming up. The idea that Kara Braxton represented a certain kind of player who doesn't always get the loudest applause, but is absolutely essential for winning. She wasn't a guard with the ball in her hands all the time. She wasn't launching threes or racking up highlight reel crossovers. She was banging in the post, setting brutal screens at freed shooters, grabbing tough rebounds in traffic, and absorbing physical punishment game after game. In a league that has evolved and opened up offensively, it's easy to forget how critical that kind of physical inside presence was, especially in the mid-2000s. For Detroit Shock fans in particular, this news hits on multiple levels. Those teams in 2006 and 2008 weren't just good. They were tough, scrappy, and proud of it. They leaned into that identity. Opposing players knew a road trip to face Detroit was going to be a war inside the paint. Kara was a big part of establishing that tone. When we look back on those championship banners hanging in the record books, it's important to remember the people who helped hang them, not just the marquee names. She was one of those people. from a broader WNBA perspective. Her career is a reminder of how many foundational players built the league during that era, before we had the kind of coverage, social media presence, and mainstream attention the league is starting to enjoy now. There were players like Braxton battling night after night, giving fans something real to root for, and building the culture of winning and professionalism that younger generations are stepping into today. Her impact might not have always led highlights, but it was felt in locker rooms, on scouting reports, and in playoff series. Her decision to return to school nearly 2 decades after leaving college is another part of her legacy that deserves attention. A lot of former athletes talk about going back to finish their degree someday, but life gets complicated. The fact that she actually did it sends a powerful message to younger players. Your career on the court is only one chapter. You can always go back, you can always keep learning, and you can always finish what you started. That move showed real determination, and it adds another layer to the respect people have for her. The news of her passing, especially at just 43, also opens up a wider conversation about how quickly life can change, even for professional athletes who we tend to think of as almost indestructible. Fans watch these players at their physical peak and assume they'll always be around. When someone from that era is suddenly gone, it's jarring. It reminds everyone that behind the jersey number and the highlights is a human being, a parent, a coworker, a friend. Right now, the basketball world is mourning, remembering, and sharing. Old clips are resurfacing of her blocking shots, cleaning the glass, or finishing inside. Fans are commenting things like, "I remember watching her with the shock," or "She was so underrated." Former players are emphasizing how kind she was off the court, how she made people laugh, how she supported others. It's all part of the same picture. Braxton, the champion, the teammate, the mother, the friend. As more information eventually comes out, and as the initial shock fades, what will stick with most people is the totality of her life in basketball and beyond. A kid from Michigan who found her way to Oregon, then to Georgia, then to the pros. A 7th overall pick who became a 2-time WNBA champion. A physical, fearless center who carved out a decade-long career in the best women's league in the world. A globe-trotting pro who kept playing overseas in Poland, Turkey, China, and Italy. A mother who raised an elite college athlete. A former player who went back to the classroom and finished her degree. A woman who stayed connected to sports through her work at Nike and through mentorship. Braxton's death is a massive loss for the WNBA community, for her loved ones, and for anyone who watched her battle in the paint for so many years. She leaves behind a legacy of toughness, resilience, and quiet, but undeniable influence on the court and off it. If you watched her during those championship runs, or if you followed her career with the Detroit Shock, Tulsa Shock, Phoenix Mercury, or New York Liberty, you know how much she brought to the game. Feel free to share your memories, favorite moments, or thoughts about what she meant to you as a fan. And above everything else, let's keep her family, her children, her friends, and her former teammates in our thoughts. Braxton, 2-time WNBA champion, trailblazing center and beloved teammate, is gone far too soon at 43. But the mark she left on the league